Hello, once again. How you doing? Remember, I was if you've seen another video I had on my page, and I was talking about this young lady that I met down in Corbin, Kentucky, and um, give you an idea what it was like. And it was a story about about going to this is going to correlate with the story what I'm about to show you on this video. It's from the field of our show, and it tells a story about what this young woman went through as a Haitian woman living with an American white family and what she went through. And I'm going to play that in a second. But before I do that, I want to show you this is the woman that I dated, and this is what she would do the whole time I was with her. I don't know if you can see that or not. And this is back in 2000, and she would do that. This and she's biracial. This is where her mother. They had a house in Cincinnati, and I don't know if it was renting up, but this is what they had. This is their trailer park in Corbin, Kentucky. This is the Corbin, Kentucky, back in 2000. I don't know if you can see it with the light off. I'm sorry, the glare of the light, but this is what it looked like. This where her grandmother was buried down at the cemetery. This is going through town in Corbin, Kentucky. This is Corbin, Kentucky. You, as you can see, this is where I was at back then, and she's in the. I took a picture, and this is the same woman, the young lady, is in the background. She's in the background. This is her family. Uh, this, I believe, is her brother. I believe those are her cousins, and I think one of her cousins is married to this guy here. This was in front of the KFC down in Corbin, Kentucky. This was like the original restaurant in Corbin, Kentucky, where KFC's all over. Those of you who have Kentucky Fried Chickens in your city, Corbin, Kentucky this is the headquarters where it started at. Right there. But this was her relatives, and I'm gonna play your story with Phil from the Avaz Show play. Check this out, and about entitled Sundown Towns, and he got some good advice from this young lady.
We have a Haitian sister that was adopted by a Mzungu family. And I want you to hear what this sister has been dealing with while being adopted with that family through it.
Um, I just wanted to come on here and just talk about the things that I go through every single day. And one of them is struggling with being adopted. Um, so this isn't part two or anything, but this is just something that like blows my mind about my adoption family and how they treat me. Sometimes I just feel like I got adopted for the wrong reasons, completely wrong reasons. I just feel like I got adopted for the show, for the, oh, you are such a good person for adopting a girl, a black child from a foreign country, you know? You see how that would look? Yeah, exactly. So I definitely think I got adopted for the wrong reasons, and here's why. My family is awful when it comes to the N word. They have all said the N word. I've never heard my mom say it, and I've never heard my youngest sister say it, but she is in high school now, and she follows my sister who's my or at my age. We were actually in the same grade because I got held back a year when I came home from Haiti. But she, my youngest sister, follows. Like, she looks at my sister like she is a celebrity, you know. So I'm sure she says the N word. But do you know how hurtful that is for somebody who goes to school, to basically an all-white school, few black children, and you constantly hear the N word and racist things, you know, and it hurts a lot. And you would think, oh, well, your sibling would never do that, your family would never do that, they would stand up for that, like, they would stick up for any of that stuff. No, they are a part of it, and it absolutely sucks. Like, it hurts a lot knowing that I have a family who thinks it's okay to be racist and say the N word, knowing that they literally have a black child and a black sibling. My mom, like I said, my mom, I've never heard said it, but I wouldn't be surprised if she has. But my dad has said it in front of me, and all my siblings have said it in front of me, except for my youngest sister. I've never heard her say it, but I bet she does. And it extremely hurts. If you are someone who has been through the same thing, I am so sorry you have been through it, because it is unacceptable. I'm sorry it happened, because it's bad.
So this is the question that I have. If that word is part of your lexicon, you just can't help yourself. You gotta say that word. Why did you carry yourself to Haiti to adopt a black girl? Why? I say this, and I've been saying this many times before. Why don't you go adopt people within your own community? There are many white children that need to be adopted. There are many white children in European nations that need to be adopted. Why do y'all always pass up the white children that need to go to people in homes that look like them, correct? You rather not go adopt white children and go and fool with black children in Haiti, black children in the continent of Africa and everywhere else. This is not only that, it's evil, but it's sick. It's sick because you don't like black people at all. This family, you don't. And you talking about black people in the one most vile way ever. This girl has been psychologically abused her whole time she's been with these people. This is why I applaud any African nation that come out and say, y'all are not taking none of these children out of this country, not you. Because it's been story after story after story of children going to abusive situations like this, or even worse, that has been done to these children. We've covered stories over the years. We had some children from Ghana. They had them chained up, locked up in a basement, not feeding them, but their white children was eating just like it wasn't nothing. Everything was great, but they was up here just abusing black children, treating them like they some slaves on the plantation somewhere. There's been stories where they have, abused them, violated them. You know what I mean by violate? Violated them, and yet they have their white children, and they don't do any of those things like that to them. They just do it to the black ones. Or you have this situation, always being called, anti-black slurs. People in Haiti and all these other places. Some of you, when these people show up, you're smiling too much. You're excited when the people show up. Why? And you want them to take your children? Some of you, anybody non-black show up and you just don't know how to act by yourself. You're knocking each other over to get to them. You don't know their intentions. You don't know anything about these people at all. And what's even worse, they've had issues and situations where some of you in the African continent have given your children to sick perverts for some money. That is something I can never understand. Never. These people do not need to be form or fashion adopting black children because of the culture of anti-black racism and white supremacy that is permeated in their culture that they created. Nobody else created that. They created that. And since they created that, and that's part of the culture, think about it. Any person within their community who realize that is wrong, who say that detests me, they look at that particular white person as a traitor. This is the mindset. Black children are in danger in those situations. And let's say, okay, you say, well, I'm not that way. I never said that. Okay, this is the next problem. You take these children to lily white areas where there's no black people at. And let's say you're not that way at all. You never said those vile words. But you put them in environments where they're subjected to that at school. They're being subjected to that in the town. You don't say, you know what, for the sake of this child, let me go in an area where it's definitely, at minimum, extremely diverse. There's a lot of black people there. There's white folks, there's Hispanics, Asians, but definitely a lot of black people. You don't even want to do that. That's the next issue that they have. So you have a child who's dealing with all those issues and problems. It is bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I never going to be supportive of seeing them adopt black children. No. They don't even understand the black people here. They don't even treat the black people here right.
That's
so
true.
why do you think they going to sit up there and go treat a Haitian little girl right? Or a girl from an African nation right? A boy. Look at Madonna. Look at what she did with those children. Look at Charlize Theron. Look what she did with those boys.
She turned them into girls.
Y'all, come on now. Y'all seen the pictures. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Every time they get in they clutches, something end up not being right with them children. Y'all need to keep your children in your countries. If they want to go adopt some children, say, hey, there's a lot of kids right now in Ukraine that can go to a home because of what's going on over there right now.
Right.
There's a lot of poor countries in Eastern Europe that you can go to and adopt.
Yep.
But see, they don't want to adopt children within their own community because they don't have that sick, vile thoughts to their own. They only have that to the black children. You understand? This is going to take people waking themselves up within the African diaspora to protect black children. You must protect them at all costs. If you don't protect your children, you are worthless as a human being. All children must be protected. And that's just period. But y'all let me know what y'all think about, this particular story. I hate this sister is dealing with this. It's vile. This sister gonna need some therapy for sure. Mm-hmm. I hope that even if she see this video, please get with some good black women to and definitely, to just love on you and console you because you need an adopted black family. That's what you need. You need to walk away from them people and go get you a family. Find some Haitian brothers and sisters as well. That's your culture. You need to find them. Some of you Haitian brothers and sisters, reach out to her if y'all know who she is. Or she reach out to y'all. Take her in. Because this sister going to definitely need some therapy.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth.
I can set it clear myself. Let me tell you my story about what happened with her. Now, her mother is white. This young lady right here, and she told me some stories that put me to tears. She used to get picked on down there. She used to get called the N-word down there. Her mom kind of solicited her out in a roundabout way down there. And one time she stuck up for a friend, and a couple of grown-ass dudes jumped on her, beat her up. They said the N-word like it's nothing. And the reason why Phil said that's true. That's true. That's true. And that's not just a black Haitian girl, but you could be a black child or product of a mixed relationship here, and somebody in that family speaks like that. I've been in some people's households where they say the N word. Just come out with it, because hey, we're gonna say, and you don't look at them the same, because like I'm subconsciously I don't think there's something wrong with it. I'm not like that. But you say, okay, it's a slip of a word. They do it again. And let me tell you how another way they do it. They do it with jokes. They'll think of a different ethnic group of people, and they also, among some people in that community, will make up racial jokes about different groups of people. They make up about Asians. They make up about Hispanics. They make up about black folks, and they do that. And it's just it can be at work, and somebody think, well, Charlie's cool, but when you bring your friend, or a friend of yours or somebody, all of a sudden they mood change. They demeanor change. Like, and some people who are not like that, when they're not prejudiced, their demeanor don't change. They be looking forward to hearing from, talking to you. But the ones who do, they got a certain look about them. And they don't think that you're not going to pick up on it. I've been exposed to it. I've been the only black dude. And I told you about the time when this person was supposed to be a mutual friend of me and my friend John's. And John was away at service, right? And this guy's name, that we thought we were cool. And this is about 30-something years ago. It's back in 1989. I think about 1989, somewhere in there. So I'm only, because I thought he was cool because my friend John is black. And so, so this mutual person, I thought if he liked John, he'd respect me. But he never did this in front of John. But he did it, and I saw the real side of him. So what happened was, I was over his house one time. He had these friends to come over. They come over, and they said, we're going to pull a prank on James. Kind of prank. You think prank is they think someone, I don't know, I don't know, just something, pranking some goofy, somebody prank you, spray, whipped cream or something, or something like that. No. Something in their devilish minds told them to dress like KKK. And like a dummy, I didn't realize that at the time. They came up in there. Now, his neighbors was over there. They were shocked that these boys pulled this prank. And I was, and it emotionally, it messed me up, man. It messed me up. It messed me up for a while. I had a certain prejudice towards white people after that, at that point. It did. I'm serious. It had, like, damn, is this what they really do behind our back? And I mean, now I know that. But at the time, this is before I went away to school. It's like I resented them, and I never looked at them the same. I definitely cut the friendship off, and I never looked. It really do something. You don't know what it's like, and it's a subconscious thing. They just think and they know they're gonna get a rise out of you. They know that they're gonna get some controversial. They do it just to get a rise, to get attention. I'm telling you how some people are. Now, black people, black people got prejudice, but we'd never do something like that. We ain't never, ever, ever, ever dressed up and put on some white face and start talking about white people if a white person's in our present. I've been around where a white person was they was the only white person, and then we get the utmost respect. You know, I've never, and this is the truth. I've never seen this happen, where a white person come around a black family, and a black family do a white person like that. I have never seen them make white boy jokes, innuendos. I've never seen this done to a white person come around black people. But I've seen it when you're the only one out there, and you got some racist relative. In the case with her, she has some racist relatives. So it ain't just these people wouldn't even look in my face. They didn't even acknowledge me. That's how precious that they were. So this is a true. This is a true story. So I wanted to play that story, and I wanted to show you pictures, because even though, and the only people that seemed like they got some sense out of the whole family was her grandmother, who passed away. You know, and she was down there from Kentucky. So this don't apply to all, because some people literally left away. And not only in that little town, they stayed one time. I talked to a mutual person over the chat line that lived down there, and they knew who she was, but her mom wouldn't tell me. Her mom would tell me that her neighbor was a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a Klan. This stuff and stuff like this happened. Luckily, that's why they were scared for me, because I could. Who knows? If I'd have been down there, they probably would have did a ritual and killed me. Because they still, and people try, and they make it seem like it's a suicide. He went off in the woods. There's some people that is crazy that, and what he was saying, they do stuff like that. You think that is crazy in the city, that you hear about gunshots and all this stuff like that. You need more what's out there and what kind of people roam around out there than you do in the city, if you're a person of color, or you mix with something. But I just thought when I was talking about on the video, and you probably saw my one video when I'm walking around, I was trying to find these pictures, because this is the damage. She was psychologically damaged. She did this the whole time I dated her. She held her hands over just like this. I'm not lying. She did this the whole time we were even we were together. I don't know what in the heck, but she went through hell, and I felt so bad. And eventually I had to let her go, because I couldn't. And I said, why don't you don't have to keep doing that. Oh, and she would do this and thinking that I was going to leave her at the time, and I'm still going to be here and connect with you. But she thought I would leave because she had weight. It was not she had weight. It was just that she wasn't really ready to have a boyfriend. And then the sad thing about her father, he wasn't in her life. That's a sad thing. And that's messed up, black men. A black man to leave his biracial child. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because you don't know what some people will do to a child's head. I'm not saying in some cases, but I've heard, and I talked with a woman before, and it was another woman who had a biracial daughter and went through the same thing. And I told you about, and I mentioned about, you know, about uh, 16 years ago how I met this woman from Lancaster, Ohio, and this I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio, and she had a biracial daughter, and their family was racist as I don't know what. How did I know they were racist? When they don't make no contact with you, they do not like you. They can't stand you. They wasn't being shy. They just letting you know. You know, why'd you bring him over here? And she have a daughter that's biracial, so you can only imagine what's going on in that household. And they just sit there and let it water by. I'm talking about and what he said, and it's very true. It's very true. I witnessed it. I have witnessed it myself. And some people who are white do that. They do it. They just feel like they feel comfortable and do it because it's like it ain't offending them. You know, but if you friends with somebody subconsciously, and it's like you say, hey man, that's not cool. You know, that ain't right. Well, they kind of surprised you get offended because you're not black. You don't know nobody black. Well, you know, only time they see black people is on TV or in music. That's a fact. There's some people, and that's why they move them out to them designated areas out there. Some people move out. Some people go out there for the cost of living, and a peace of quiet, and to get away from traffic and crime. But you know, crime is anyway. Somebody can break into your barn or house way out there. I've heard cases where that happens. So you can't really say because people do. It's a lot of stuff they don't tell you about. They go in there and break in their barn or their garage and take some tools and parts and stuff and hawk them and that's where they go because they know that and some people someone that look like them will blend into the area because ain't no black dude gonna go out and do no shit like that. He'll stick out like a sore thumb breaking his out in a predominantly white area trying to break in someone. But that's the truth. So, but it's a reality. I never forget that, man. And she did this the whole time. But just to give you one time, this is what a relatives look like. This is what they look like, man. Look real closely. This was her relatives. And that's her mom being hugged. But them folks didn't even make no eye contact with her. The whole time I'm down there, people in Corbin, Kentucky wouldn't even make no eye contact with you. So until later on in this town, and if they know black people there's like 5 black people probably they know. They know they black people, and they probably there, but they keep them on the outskirts. It's the truth. It's no big deal. He's probably just like anybody else. He cut the rug and everything. Yeah, you got black people out in areas like that. I call them blackabillies. They like the cousin version of them. That you know, it's the truth. But yeah. But that's what I went through. That's why I said I'm lucky to be alive, because there's a channel where there have been black men that gone out to rural towns like this with somebody, and they never were seen alive again. And they so-called then a relative come by and say, "Did you hear from so-and-so, so-and-so?" No, you know, and you just never know. People are they show you one way, but when you get them out in their own territory, you don't know what to suspect. That's why I said God has really saved prevent for me. Because I always used to go in some towns that looked like this. I went to school in towns that looked like this, where you know ain't too many of us. And trust me, they know it. They know. They know the own black people out there. They know you don't belong out there. You might be white, they know you don't, but you definitely don't know if you're black, you ain't supposed to be out there. But yeah, man, that's sad what happened to young, and I went out. And the thing about it is, you know what some people use that as an excuse? Oh, they were Christians. They were Christians. But yeah, they were Christians, all right. They wanted to do the noble thing to do was to go over and show the right thing to do, because it's subconsciously. It was like, wow, it's like, and it's like what Phil said, if that's the way you feel, it's like, why do you adopt black children? I mean, if you can't stand black people, I never could figure that out. Like, why are there some people who are racist, who are white? Some of the white people that they say the N word like it's like someone cussing, drinking water, and I never could figure out. It's like, you don't have to be going to a mixed area where people who agree to live alongside beside each other, white and black and everything. You don't have to live among them. And like here in Ohio, it's like 50,000 counties is predominantly white. Out of probably 50, 60 counties, 30, 40 of them are all, and trust me, when I tell you they're all white, they're all white. Majority of them ain't. You might, like I said again, you might see 2 black people in the whole town. If you might see 1, you might see 1 Asian people. That's how white it is. And that's, you can tell, and like I say, you can tell about the school system. If you got kids that go to school, but you live in these little rural towns like this, trust me, and they look at you like you come off of a spaceship, and they be like, wow, black people, they really real, just like on TV. Because it's funny, but it's the truth. There's some people like that. That's why them kids, it tells a whole lot. They know that you're a stranger. Ain't like any other kid do, but they know. They know that. You don't know what their parents said in front of them. In some cases. Not everybody's out there like that, but it's the truth. This is reality. And that's why I'm like, God, dog. Yeah, that's what I was running around looking for the pictures for. But yeah, that was really an adventure. And a lot of people who have missed children don't think about that. They don't think about that. Oh, it's just, kids being kids. No, I'm trying to tell you, there's certain places in Ohio, Kentucky, and other places, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, that I know about, that I've been through, let alone these other states, that you go into a rural area and you being a biracial person, I wouldn't doubt it. And you will see some kind of prejudice. And they do it another way that they but yeah, they joke. They'll tell jokes. They'll equate you with something black people that they see black people do on TV, or they heard something. One of the big thing that they say, oh, you guys like big cars, Cadillac. We got Cadillacs for you. They might crack about the joke about you liking watermelon. They do little innuendo jokes like that. And they think that you don't catch that. I'm just telling you what they do. Certain individuals that do this, and they think and they don't think that anything. When they really get pissed off if they see somebody on TV that they just can't stand them. You know, like they just can't stand them. Like they hate because it's something about them. Another thing is that I had a neighbor. I told you the story about my neighbor, an ex-neighbor of mine, that when I lived on the outskirts of Cincinnati, and his wife at the time, who had a baby with him, his fiance at the time, but before she got with him, she dated a black man, and every time he would throw it up in her face. Oh my God! And it was just, I couldn't see how can you lay with one of those people. It's just another human being, right? No, to some white men, it bothered them. It psychologically bothers them. Some of them, not all, but some of them, it bothers them like crazy. That that a white female get with a black man, and like Phil said, is a traitor. They don't even look at you. Family disown you. And maybe the guy that they thought that they could set you up with, he could be a jerk. But it was during the time, get back to that, it was during the time that it's like, okay, but I'm not dating the black guy no more. It's like there might have been some black female that dated white man. It not dating him no more. But I mean, I don't recall ever a black male saying, "Oh my God, how can you date one of them guys?" It is what it is. And she had to go back and date a black dude, but in some cases, or marry a black man. Not the case that I know about, but yeah, some of them really they messed them up, man. Comes to the black man, and with the white woman, it messes them up. They come up, oh my God, oh, I heard about you guys and that big Twiggy in your pants. Why you talk about another man's junk in his pants? I don't count that in college. I had a female that come over. We were just friends. I told these guys up and down, we're just friends. We're not sleeping together. But I was the only black guy on the floor. Them white boys were jealous. And I didn't even sleep with them. We were just talking and friends. I even met her boyfriend. We reassured we ain't doing it just in case some get back to him. I'm telling you. Oh yes, oh yeah, you getting Trish the whole black salami? Yeah, that's what you doing, like. And they come out like that. I'm like, and I'm telling you, I never heard a bunch of black dudes say to a white dude, "Oh yeah, you giving her that big old white salami, aren't you?" Like, we don't do stuff. We don't be concentrating. Most black dudes, we don't do that. We don't worry about usually what you do with a black woman in the bedroom. We don't do that. Most black dudes I know, we don't do stuff like that. That's how, and that's where that insecure come from. And it's just like, it seems like it's a joke, but they really is. It's like, wow, I've heard people joke about some things, but like, wow, no, man, it's like we're just friends. We just, even though I had a little crush on her, but she said, and I respected that. I didn't put the moves on her at the time when I was and this was in Nelsonville, Ohio, another town at like Corbin. Yeah, but luckily, but I didn't be around. I'll be around other black foreigners and foreign students. But when that stuff jumped down with when back during the Gulf War, they was going to jump on this Indian dude when we was at a party. This dude, and we had his back saying, nobody going to jump on Sonny. But this is how they get. This is what kind of mentality you deal with out there. When they see brown, they see brown. When they see yellow, they see yellow. they see mixed, they see mixed. Or and I don't care how proper they say, even if you are, but as soon as you can talk proper and say, but when you get you offend one of them, they're gonna call you the N word like anything else. I'm just I'm gonna I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. It's the truth, and it's gonna be shocking to some people. Like, I didn't know so and so was like that. Yeah. See, I've been around people. I know. I guess I was one kind of individuals that was glutton for punishment, because I believe, that and I do truly believe not all one group of people are alike, but I know when some individuals among them that group would kind of rise up, because I've seen prejudices in other groups. I've seen it in Hispanics. I've seen it among other Africans. So it's not just a black and white thing, but but it's the color, the pigment of the skin doesn't matter. And to some people, when you put them out in that environment, sometimes they could be, your child can say something to at school, and they children they heard it from an adult. So you have a biracial child. I pray that don't happen, but they'll pick at you, they'll get you, and they know that you're different. They know. Their parents taught them that. And like I said, that's why I say, hey, I don't go into predominantly towns, mostly like they call them Zungles, white. Because, man, I stopped that, man. If it's not a mixed area, I don't go into it. Even if I was dating if I did, I would stay in a mixed area. I would not stay in no areas on the outskirts like here in Columbus. There's no way. I would stay someplace like Lancaster, West Jefferson. I could tell you some spots. I could tell you Marysville, out towards Sunbury, down near Circleville, and these little towns surrounding Columbus. Because it was a woman that told me, it was a white woman that told me, who have a biracial granddaughter, and she lived in a little town right outside of between Circleville and Lancaster, and she was telling me how, before that, the guy was really nice when she would come in, but when she bring a granddaughter in, he got kind of an indignant attitude. He was really, his mood changed. All of a sudden, get real hostile, whatever. Like, wow, what the heck, But she said she had a biracial granddaughter. They don't tell you some stories out there. Some of them do. And especially the kids in school. The kids are something else. Oh, Sonny Pierce could be something else too. They do slave auctions and stuff. Probably make mammy jokes, put blackface, talk about some word like a word coon. Like, where does stuff come from? Is in some people's nature out there? And they heard one they racist friends or cousin, uncle, or buddies of a neighbor sitting around the conversation, sitting around the table talking like this. Guarantee you, they talk like, if you hear it, and your little child come back and hear about it, and that's where they picked it up at. And sometimes it could be a relative, and so you're kind of ostracized in a way from the family, because they want everybody to look like them. That's why I was when Kanye West was talking about um, you know, about Hitler and Nazis and stuff like that. And I'm like, Kanye, do you sitting on a panel with a bunch of white guys that think you're going out with white women is disgusting. He don't even know that. While you sit up there, white nationalists, white Aryan supremacists, that's how they think. They think like that. Because everybody, and to some people who are white, they want their bloodline to keep looking the same way. They don't want no other racial group in their pick. And it's the truth. That's why some people are prejudiced, because they don't want their daughter, and they discourage that. I think they would rather them be gay than to be in an interracial relationship. To be honest with you, I think they would probably accept that more than being. I'm telling you, skin pigmentation matters. And I always say it from here in the eyes, what they perceive in their mind. That's the truth. That is the truth. I've encountered it in so many different ways. And even with, you know, the recent incident with the guy that used to be my neighbor, Bob, you know, he's not like that. But and neither not so far. But there's some people in the extended family that kind of like, you there, but you're not there. And it's to me, I use the slogan, you're visible until they want to see you visible. And when you're black, that's what it is. To mainstream white people, they only acknowledge you if they like you, then they know you. They don't know you, you're visible. Yeah, not everybody, but to mainstream, that's why I call it the slogan, you're visible till you be visible. And I think that's what people like Kanye don't sitting up there agreeing with a bunch of Nazis and skinhead. I said they use you, but they don't respect you. And they think you're disgusting for laying down with the black man. This is deep. I'm telling you, it's deep. The hatred to black men alone. Other races, yeah, that go through their problems, yes. But black men, black women, black children are the most hated people throughout the different parts of the world. You get with somebody's like, you kind of lower your standard. I mean, that's a damn shame, ain't it? But it is what it is. That's how some people are. They're not going to tell you this. And I got a slogan say, some people don't tell you, they show you. And you pick it up. As I didn't see things like this when I was younger. But when I got older and I start seeing how certain people conduct themselves, that's how I knew. That's how I picked up on things. Sometimes, and it takes time. Some people won't understand. There's some people probably my age that still don't understand. And some people accept it and block it out. And some people go along with it. Black people. Because they think they're going to be one of the special ones. But as soon as you might be special among them people, but if you cross town and go to another county, another town, and you used to be around the people that in that community, and you conduct yourself, you could be a good person, but even you gonna have to encounter that. And I have met black people like that. They don't like their own people. But it's going to come in some form or fashion. Because if you have a disagreement with an individual from a different town, a different county, or different co-worker, they're going to let you know. So it's good not to be a sellout. And don't put down your people. Because at the end of the day, you're visible till they feel you invisible till they say you visible. Here, here. That's real talk. That's reality. Reality. Not everybody, but a vast proportion of people, yes. Because when that favorite person that don't view you that way like that, you got, and it's the same situation I tell you about with my friend John. I mean, this guy that we knew, I think that because he was my friend, he's a white guy that was friends with me and John, and he had other people, but later on, when John went away to the service, I got to know the real person. And so I asked him one thing, oh no, I'm not prejudiced. Oh no, I'm not prejudiced. But subconsciously, he is. Of course, John don't talk to him no more. He probably see him every now and then, but as far as I'm concerned, I would never want to see that person again. But when I sit back and really think about those times, it's like I was trying to be friends with somebody that clearly was a bigot. And view black people like they're just instruments and toys, not human beings and friends. I'm sorry that I don't like to be negative, but this is the reality, and I hope please share this with somebody, my testimony, because I've seen it. Like I said, I'm a person that I lived in inner city and I lived in the suburbs, so I know both, and been to the rural areas for temporary time. So I know all three, how the way they operate. I know how you get to know people. When as you get older, God increase your wisdom. Just sit back. And I'm not the type of person to run off with the mouth. Just shut up and listen and watch. You'll see. And somebody listen. You may disagree with what I'm saying. Sit back and watch. Sit back and just life will show you where people really stand at. Have a conversation with them. You found the real person coming out. Get them on a certain day, in their own comfort of their own confines. It come out come out. So my name is James. I hope you take note of this video. Yeah, it's just sad, and yeah, that young lady gonna need some psychological help, just like the woman I just showed you. She probably never got no psychological help because they called her every N-word you could even imagine. Whatever evil or vile thing that they said about black people and her being part black, just imagine. I'm just saying, just imagine. The most hideous, disgusting, racist thing that come out. Things that they can invent, they try to make it stick on a black person. Very true. And some people, they don't know it until they sit down and have a conversation with somebody. And is that choice? Is that person still, you gonna be still in that person's life, or are you gonna cut them loose? That's come down to it. So I pray that but if your child goes through that, or you go through that, if you're a biracial person, that you get some counseling. And you've been hurt and wounded like this young lady and the young lady I just showed you, get some counseling. I know. See, some people don't understand because I've seen it. And I know the visible to be invisible. I know when they just see you as an object of difference based on the complexion of your skin. They see it here and they see it here, and they learned it, and they won't, and they carried on it like they carry their religion, and they covered up it by saying that they go to church and they're Christian. I know. I know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. You like it, share it, thumbs up, whatever. But yeah, it's a wake up call. Then please take my advice. You gone through this, trust me, and get around some people that will accept you, regardless of race, color, or creed, and love you for you. Take care.